I honestly still cannot believe that Byleth is in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. It feels like a fever dream, and it doesn't feel like a real thing. It feels like a mod. But we're gonna get him in a couple of days. From this video's recording, 10 days to be exact, because this is recorded on the 18th. So I thought it'd be fun to go over him. Not like a technical analysis of his frames or anything. Just like a general overall look at the character, his stage, the Mii costumes that came with him, and lastly the choices for spirit fights. Starting with the easiest part, the costumes. They're the best choices for Byleth, hands down. One for each house leader, one for each Byleth form, and then Sophis, because she's the only neutral party in the game. Personally, I would prefer that if costumes 7 and 8 were the Enlightened One outfit with the light green hair, but I guess they didn't want to make too many costumes for one character. Keeping it with the motif of the importance of the house leaders, we got their weapons for Byleth. I thought personally that Byleth would command a student to come out and help them do a move, and then if they get hit, they die permanently and cannot be used for the rest of the match. But I'd imagine with all the voice acting, animations, models that had to be made that are high quality, that might have been impossible. Also, then there would have been some favoritism with some spells or attacks. Like, let's say there's a magic attack that Byleth would have had, then you'd only have magic kids, and not all of the houses have an equal amount of magic kids. So yeah, my idea can go in the trash can. But the one they went with is really, really good in my opinion. It shows off the strength and importance of each individual weapon in Fire Emblem, which quite possibly might be more important than permadeath. I mean, yeah, it is more important than permadeath, because you do that all the time. You deal the weapon triangle all the time, and permadeath is just one of the many mechanics in the Fire Emblem story that you go through. While the weapon triangle is a constant in your face, it needs to be paid attention to at all times, literally the entire game mechanic. So, the weapons themselves are great representations of what they are in the games. Axe, slow, but does the most damage. Lance, fast, accurate, but has low damage if you use it incorrectly. The sword, being your all-around tool of destruction, it has a normal amount of speed, a normal amount of accuracy, a normal amount of damage. Everything with this is just kind of normal. You don't have to worry about it missing or doing too little damage too often, even though it does lose to the lance, because the lance will be able to hit it first. Though in Smash Bros, it's more of a lance has more range than the sword kind of thing, while the sword can attack an axe user and then quickly dodge or move out of the way before the next hit gets them. So the weapon triangle still is kind of there, even with the Byleth versus Byleth match, which is cool. And then you got the bow and arrow, which is just kind of a generalist weapon. It's safe, it's long range, but if someone gets in close and you're not ready to use it, you're dead. You're just super dead if you're in the wrong area using it. The only thing missing from Byleth's utility belt is magic, but he doesn't really use it, so it doesn't matter. Well, the whole weapon triangle and bow, because the bow is part of the weapon triangle, part of Byleth is successful. Their special attacks are based off of the combat art abilities in Fire Emblem 3 Houses specifically. This is because of the red trail they leave. I'm not sure if the bow and lance moves are based off of anything that the house leaders do or any of the generic units, because I played through the game twice on both of those house leaders' routes, and I didn't see them do either of those animations. But the idea still kind of stands there earlier with the weapon triangle, and also including the combat arts mechanic, where if you use a combat arc, you lose a lot more weapon durability than you would if you just attacked. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate implements that rule by having it so that each special attack has a lot of end lag, which forces you to specialize them. In the down special, which I think is based off of one of Edelgard's combat skills that's exclusive to her, has a lot of start lag too. Just like an axe would be very slow compared to the other ones. Even the bow and arrow keeps this in mind, being kind of like a smash attack at very long range. You're stuck charging it, or you'll get a very weak version. At least that's how it looked like in the direct, from what I understood from this explanation of the move. Might be wrong, I have no idea, because it's not out yet. Lastly, I want to go over his axe. I can't believe we have another Falcon Punch-esque attack. This is the big meme move, so use it on your friends when they're not paying attention, you'll just kill them all. It has a huge amount of range, and even if you miss it, it bounces them up in the air so you can quickly recover in case you miss. And Byleth's down aerial actually being good is basically what keeps his character together, instead of falling apart kind of like Hero does without MP. That's what I was most worried about during the Byleth's presentation, because I knew they were a little bit slower, kind of like Hero, but if they didn't have a good down aerial attack, they basically could be combo food for an entire match, which happens a lot with Hero. But no, their down air is probably the strongest move in their entire arsenal. If they can actually land it, it's just a bit slow, but it looks like a good move, mostly due to the disjoint between the axe's head and Byleth himself. Almost like a very slow deployed shield for Byleth to use to get back on stage. And now I'm going to move on to the Sword of the Creator. It's pretty alright with it being the generalist weapon of Byleth, which I think is a good choice, because that's like Byleth's weapon. That's the only weapon Byleth gets that's exclusive to them. It being the weapon that Byleth used for tilts just makes normal sense. It's fast enough to be used for tilts. It has a normal amount of range, normal amount of everything, basically, compared to other sword users in the game. Hopefully it's the safest option that Byleth has at most times, because it better be. I mean, why else would you use it? Their up special being a better version of Joker's is debatable because it doesn't really work. at lower percents. It just kind of pushes them slightly to your left or right, depending which way you're moving upward. So it kind of just puts you in a bad position if you're not good in the air. And we don't know if Byleth's good in the air or not. I mean, they look alright, and that's mostly because most of the time of the direct was spent on the ground talking about the moves, so you can't really analyze or get a feel for how Byleth plays in the air. But yeah, most lower percents can be used as a spike to get an instant kill, so it's just going to be kind of your aerial, I don't know how to describe this, aerial neutral reset. It puts the fight into the air, basically. If you try to go for one of those cheeky spike kills at a high percentage jumping off the ledge, you might miss it and just die because you won't be able to recover in time. Maybe the enemy will punish you and then recover themselves and you waste your stock. Again, this is more of a hypothetical because we don't really know how Byleth's up special works, other than spiking at higher percents and not at lower percents. Either way, it looks like a normal tether recovery move, so I expect a lot of Byleth players to go low on the stage to recover. Quickly mentioning the spirits, yeah, I understand why they were chosen. They chose each house leader, understandable, and the next character who contrasts them the most, which I thought was an interesting choice. Quickly comparing Dimitri and Ingrid here, you got Ingrid, who's more of a classic, traditional Knight of Fargus, while Dimitri is more looking forward to the future, trying to make a world that's more equal and accepting of people, and trying to just rid all the bad of the world. And they have the same goal, but their whole personality and mindset towards like the culture of Fodlan is totally different. Despite this, the house leaders are friends with all the students in their class, so no worries there if you're wondering about that if you haven't played Fire Emblem Three Houses. And then, of course, Sothis, because, Sothis is important to the game. Garreg Mach is a place you never fight in, so seeing the stage be quite simple makes sense. I will say this, if you break the market stands, you're a hoe. It's visually distinct from other stages because it's clearly a civilian area. Almost none of the arenas in this game are areas where people just sit there and talk and walk. The only one that comes close is Wrecking Crew, and that being said, the civilization is so far in the background it doesn't count. And most of the medieval stages either have chaos or isolation as their theme, not an actual school. And lastly, the song selection is pretty nifty. Good choices overall. Final battle themes and generic battle themes. And a new remix of the main theme. Very good. Also, I wonder what the special thing they're going to do with Master Hand and Byleth's classic mode is going to be. Maybe... No, I can't say that. That's a spoiler. Now, to end this all up, let's go over the Mii costumes. Rabbids, I don't care for them. It's only a hat. Kind of meh. They should have had a body outfit to go with it because the rabbits have a distinct little body with like their butts showing. Mega Man EXC and Mega Man X, I think, are resold from Smash 4. If you're a fan, that's cool. They have great aesthetics. Mega Man always has had great art design. Altair. Why did they say Smash Bros. X Altair in the trailer? Well, that was weird. But it does look cool, even if the Mii's face is barely visible. And the Mii they used to represent Altair has a giant nose. I don't know why they give him such a big nose. I really am at a loss for words for that giant nose. But the actual costume stuff looks detailed. Though the sword is a bit generic. I guess it makes sense because it's Assassin's Creed. They're not really known for swords, they're known for their hidden blades. In Cuphead, the Mii Gunner propaganda continues with this costume because Mii Gunner gets all the best costumes. Cuphead looks absolutely stunning in 3D. This is the first official model of Cuphead too. So it looks awesome. And I can't wait to play with it in the new song. This is the closest we're getting to a fictional, non-video game character with Mickey Mouse, because the design is clearly based off of Mickey Mouse's design in Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. As a huge fan of animation, I'm particularly excited for Cuphead, and the Ancient Soldier costume for Mii Sword Fighter. Honestly, this is an example of a design that is overly detailed but not messy, so I really enjoy it, and I'll probably buy the Season Pass for that costume alone. Somebody please force me to play Breath of the Wild and edit the videos within 1 second of them being recorded. I'm Blue the Hedgehog, and I'll see you guys next time on Blue the Hedgehog. Oh, and before I go and say all my goodbye stuff, if you're worried about people hating Byleth, don't be. He'll blow over in like a week when he comes out. People will be like, oh, I love this character because I can beat my friends with him by spamming down B. Alright, see y'all next time. Stay safe, and keep both eyes on the wheels and the road when you're driving. Bye.